The Galactic Union's Grand Hall was filled with tension. Ambassadors from hundreds of alien species sat in their towering seats, their holographic screens flickering with data. The air was thick with whispers and unease. At the center of the hall, High Chancellor Vorik of the XL Far Dominion stood tall. His dark, armored skin reflected the dim light, and his piercing yellow eyes scanned the room. "The time has come," he announced, his voice cold and commanding. A hush fell over the chamber. Humanity has grown too powerful. They are unpredictable, reckless, and refuse to submit to the order of the galaxy. We have tolerated their presence long enough. The delegates murmured among themselves. Some agreed. Others hesitated. The humans had arrived on the galactic stage only a few centuries ago, yet they had advanced at an unnatural speed. They defied the norms of science, war, and diplomacy. They were different, and that terrified the galaxy. The final decision. A towering insectoid ambassador, representing the Zurich swarm, clicked its mandibles. "Are you certain war is the only way, Chancellor? The humans have never openly attacked any of us." Vorik's expression darkened. "They don't need to." He tapped a button, and a hologram appeared. Earth's military expansion. Advanced warships, A-driven fleets, and terrifying planetary defenses. "Look at them," Vorik growled. "They claim to seek peace, but they prepare for war. The moment we show weakness, they will strike." The delegates murmured again. Then, a deep, guttural voice echoed across the chamber. "Enough talk. The XL Far Dominion will lead the charge." It was Lord Kravosk, supreme warlord of the Drakkar clans, a brutal reptilian species. Humanity must be crushed before it is too late. A vote was cast. The result was clear. The Galactic Union had declared war on Earth. The human response. On Earth, in the depths of the United Earth Defense Command, alarms blared. Generals, scientists, and military leaders gathered inside a high-security bunker. A transmission flickered on the main screen. A message from the Galactic Union. Admiral Jonathan Reeves stood with his arms crossed, watching the declaration of war play out before him. A deep silence filled the room. Then, a smirk crossed his lips. "Well, we knew this day would come." Behind him, a hidden fleet rested in the darkness of space. Silent, waiting. Because humanity was always ready. And the galaxy had just made its biggest mistake. The XL Far Dominion's war fleet surged through the void of space, moving like an unstoppable wave toward the Sol system. The Galactic Union had declared war, and now they would end humanity before it could retaliate. Aboard the massive flagship, the Tyrant's Will, Supreme Commander Kelter stood tall, his red eyes locked on the glowing blue planet ahead. "Earth, begin the assault," he ordered, his voice sharp as steel. Across the fleet, weapons activated, energy cannons charged, and thousands of attack ships prepared to descend upon humanity's home. The war had begun. The battle over Earth. As the XL Far fleet entered Earth's orbit, silence greeted them. No immediate counterattack. No distress signals. Just silence. Kelter frowned. Something isn't right. Then, without warning, the trap was sprung. From the dark side of the moon, Earth's hidden fleet emerged. Sleek black warships, cloaked in advanced stealth technology, armed with devastating railguns and plasma cannons. Before the aliens could react, the first volley struck. Boom! The XL Far's lead destroyer exploded instantly, torn apart by an unseen force. More ships followed, their hulls shattered by Earth's advanced weaponry. Panic spread through the alien fleet. "They were waiting for us," one officer shouted. Impossible. How did they know? But there was no time for answers. The battle had truly begun. Humanity strikes back. On Earth, Admiral Jonathan Reeves stood in the United Earth Defense Command Center, watching as the battle unfolded. His expression remained calm. "Engage Phase 2, he ordered. Above Earth, human warships shifted formation. They didn't just fight defensively. They counterattacked with precision. They targeted the XLFAR's supply ships first, then their communication relays. Every move was calculated, every strike devastating. Within minutes, the XLFAR fleet was in chaos. Commander Kelter clenched his fists. Retreat, fall back. But it was too late. Humanity had turned the tide. And the war the Galactic Union had started was already slipping from their grasp. Commander Kelter's hands trembled as he gripped the command console aboard the Tyrant's Will. The battle was not going as planned. The Galactic Union had expected a swift victory, but instead, they were being hunted like prey. "Sir, our forces are in full retreat," an officer shouted, panic clear in his voice. On the main screen, dozens of Selfar warships were being blown apart by Earth's relentless counterattack. Human ships moved like ghosts, striking with deadly precision before disappearing into the void. Kelter gritted his teeth. "No, we will not run like cowards. Deploy the obliterator cannons. Burn Earth to ashes." His crew hesitated for a moment, but then followed orders. The obliterator cannons, massive planet-cracking weapons, began to charge. The war wasn't over yet. Earth's final warning. Deep beneath Earth's surface, inside the United Earth Defense Command, Admiral Jonathan Reeves watched the enemy fleet struggle. A transmission came through from Keltar. His face appeared on the screen, his expression twisted with rage. "Humans, surrender now, or your planet will be reduced to dust." Reeves chuckled. "You still don't get it, do you?" he said calmly. He turned to his officers. "Activate Project Olympus." A silent command was sent. Suddenly, Earth's orbital defenses came to life. Gigantic railguns, hidden missile silos, and AI-powered drone fleets emerged from seemingly nowhere. A dozen Selfar warships were destroyed in seconds. But that wasn't the worst part. From deep space, something massive was approaching. Humanity's real trump card. The arrival of the Titan fleet. The XLFAR officers froze as their scanners picked up a fleet of enormous warships emerging from hyperspace. Each one was 10 times the size of the Tyrant's Will. Their hulls gleamed with black alloy, and their weapons glowed with terrifying energy. One of the alien officers gasped. Impossible. Humanity had more ships. Kelter's confidence shattered. This wasn't just a battle. It was a trap, and the XLFAR had walked right into it. Reeves leaned forward, his voice cold and precise. "You have one chance. Retreat now, or be erased from existence." Kelter hesitated, fury and fear battling inside him. But he knew the truth. The war was lost. With a clenched fist, he gave the order no Selfar had ever dared to give before. "All ships, retreat." The XLFAR fleet, once confident in their overwhelming numbers, was now scattered and fleeing. Their mighty warships, once symbols of power, were now burning wrecks drifting through space. Aboard the Tyrant's Will, Commander Kelter's face was twisted with rage. His forces were retreating in disgrace, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. "All remaining ships, jump to hyperspace. Regroup at the nearest outpost," he commanded. The damaged fleet activated their warp drives, leaving the battlefield behind. But even as they vanished into hyperspace, they knew the humans would not let them go so easily. Because this war was far from over. Earth's next move. Back on Earth, inside the United Earth Defense Command, Admiral Jonathan Reeves stood in the war room, watching the alien ships retreat. "They think they can run," he said with a smirk. Beside him, General Sophia Carter nodded. "Shall we pursue?" Reeves turned toward the holographic star map. "Of course, but not just with our ships." He tapped a command on the console. In deep space, hidden among the asteroid fields, human stealth drones activated. These weren't ordinary machines. They were designed for one purpose: tracking and eliminating retreating enemies. Within seconds, the XLFAR's escape routes were compromised. They won't get far, Reeves said, watching as the hunt began. A desperate alliance. In a remote star system, the XL-FAR survivors regrouped at a hidden outpost. The ships were damaged, morale was shattered, and their forces were barely holding together. Kelter stood before the remaining commanders. "We underestimated humanity," he admitted bitterly. Silence filled the room. Then one of his officers spoke. "Sir, what if we cannot win this war alone?" Kelter's eyes narrowed. "What are you suggesting?" The officer hesitated, then said, "We must call for help. If the Galactic Union refuses to fight, then we will find allies who will." A grim thought settled over Kelter. There was only one empire ruthless enough to challenge humanity, and if they accepted his offer, this war would turn into something far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Commander Kelter stood inside the dimly lit war chamber of the Draxian Empire, his red eyes locked onto the towering figure before him. Overlord Virak, the supreme ruler of the most feared warriors in the galaxy. The Draxians were not just another alien race. They were brutal conquerors, known for their unmatched battle instincts and relentless invasions. Even the Galactic Union feared them. And now, they were Kelter's last hope. "You want us to fight your war for you?" Overlord Virak growled, his voice deep and menacing. Kelter swallowed his pride. "Not for us. With us," he corrected. "Humanity is stronger than we thought. If we don't destroy them now, they will become the greatest threat the galaxy has ever seen." Virak leaned forward, his reptilian eyes studying Kelter. Then he let out a deep, rumbling laugh. "You came to us out of desperation, but you are right about one thing. Humanity is dangerous. We have watched them grow, and we do not like what we see." The room fell silent. Then Virak spoke the words Kelter had been waiting for. "The Draxian Empire will march to war. Humanity will burn. The trap is set." Back on Earth, Admiral Jonathan Reeves stood before a massive screen inside the United Earth Defense Command Center. Satellite images showed the Draxian fleet mobilizing, warships gathering in vast numbers. Humanity was no longer facing the defeated enemy. It was now facing a war-hardened empire. "They've made their move," General Sophia Carter said beside him. Reeves nodded. "Good. Now we make ours." He turned to his officers. "Send the order. All fleets to defensive positions. Prepare Project Titan." Project Titan was Earth's deadliest weapon, a final trump card that had never been used before. Because this time, they weren't just defending Earth. They were preparing to end this war once and for all. The war begins again. In the darkness of space, Draxian warships began their advance, their massive battleships cutting through the void toward the Sol system. Commander Kelter watched from his flagship, now fully repaired and reinforced. This time, they wouldn't underestimate humanity. This time, they would crush them. Or so they thought. Because humanity was waiting. And they were ready. The Draxian fleet moved through space like a storm, their massive warships cutting through the void with a single goal: Earth's destruction. Commander Kelter stood at the command deck of his newly reinforced flagship, watching as thousands of warships prepared to invade the Sol system. Overlord Virak's voice echoed through the comms. "Today, we erase humanity from existence. No mercy. No surrender." The Draxian warriors roared in response. This wasn't just a battle. This was an extermination. But Kelter still felt uneasy. Humanity had been too quiet. No counterattacks. No desperate negotiations. Something wasn't right. And then the trap sprung. The ambush. The moment the Draxian fleet entered the Sol system, a signal was sent from Earth. Instantly, dozens of hidden human fleets decloaked, emerging from behind planetary shadows and asteroid fields. Massive space stations, disguised as harmless orbital satellites, activated their railguns. Within seconds, the battlefield turned into chaos. "They were waiting for us," a Draxian officer shouted. Human ships moved like phantoms, their advanced eye-assisted targeting systems ripping through Draxian formations with terrifying precision. Kelter's blood ran cold. It's not just a counterattack, it's a slaughter. Project Titan awakens. In Earth's orbit, something stirred. A massive space structure, hidden in the shadow of the moon, slowly began to move. It was Project Titan, humanity's most powerful weapon. A colossal dreadnought, built in secret, armed with planet-cracking weaponry and advanced energy shielding. It was larger than any Draxian battleship, and it was aimed directly at the enemy fleet. Admiral Reeves stood in the command center, watching the battle unfold. He gave the order. Fire the Titan cannon. A deep hum vibrated through space as a massive energy beam erupted from the dreadnought, slicing through Draxian warships like paper. Entire squadrons vaporized instantly. Panic spread through the Draxian ranks. Even Overlord Virak, who had never known fear, felt his confidence crack. This wasn't a war. It was a massacre. The enemy falls. Fall back. Fall back. Keltar yelled, but it was too late. The Draxian fleet, once confident of their victory, was now desperately retreating. Their warships, once symbols of terror, were reduced to burning wreckage drifting through space. Overlord Virak's transmission came through, his expression twisted in fury. This isn't over. But deep inside, they both knew the truth. The war was over, and humanity had won. The Draxian fleet was broken. Their mighty warships, once symbols of unstoppable conquest, were now scattered wrecks drifting through space. Overlord Virak's escape pod hurled through the void, his face twisted in rage. This was not how it was supposed to end. Keltar, still aboard his failing flagship, watched the destruction unfold. The humans had outplayed them at every turn. Their technology, their strategies, it was as if they had anticipated every move. This war was never a fair fight. It was a lesson. And the galaxy had just learned why you never challenge humanity. A final warning. On Earth, Admiral Jonathan Reeves stood before a massive holographic transmission. Across from him, displayed in flickering light, was the defeated Overlord Virak. The Draxian ruler was breathing heavily, his pride shattered. "What do you want?" Virak growled. Reeves didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He simply spoke the words that would be etched into history forever. "This is your only warning. Leave humanity alone, or next time, there won't be anything left of your empire." Virak clenched his fists but said nothing. Because he knew. This war was over, and humanity had won without question. A new era begins. As the remnants of the Draxian forces fled, the news spread across the galaxy. The once feared human race, thought to be weak and primitive, had crushed two of the most powerful empires in existence. For the first time in history, the galactic powers feared Earth. But humanity did not seek conquest. Instead, they extended a hand of peace. Nations that once ignored Earth now sought alliances. Treaties were signed. Trade routes were opened. And those who once doubted humanity now looked to them as protectors. Because Earth had proven itself. Not as conquerors, not as destroyers, but as a force that no one would ever dare to challenge again.